I was pouring wine at my future in-laws' table when the old man leaned to his guest and hissed in French, "That dress screams thrift store." The chandelier froze mid-twinkle. Forks hovered. I set the bottle down, smiled, and answered in flawless Parisian French, "Better thrift than taste that can't afford kindness." You could have heard the ice crack in every glass. That's how the war began, 48 hours before my wedding. The text had landed that afternoon. "Dad wants a quiet dinner tonight. Just family." Lucas, my fiancé, the earnest attorney who once dissected disaster relief contracts beside me in a Carolina storm tent, sounded almost apologetic. We'd met over flood maps and federal red tape. He admired my precision. I valued his empathy. But his parents? Old money Charleston. His father, Ambassador Everett Caldwell, retired, still polished his cufflinks like medals. His mother, Beatrice, glided in pearls and practiced restraint. I arrived in a midnight sheath, elegant, understated, no rank pins tonight. The valet took my keys like evidence. Inside, oak glowed, cello notes drifted, and Everett greeted me with a grip that tested bone density. "Lieutenant Rios," he said, savoring the title. "Navy intel, yes?" "Field liaison, sir." "Rare for a lady." "Rarer than treaties without teeth." Lucas's glass trembled. Beatrice dabbed her lips. Everett chuckled like a man who'd been checkmated but refused to tip the king.
Talk limped.
Then Everett switched to French, assuming privacy.
Joli, mais bon marché. Pretty, but cheap.
I raised my glass. Parfois le smoking voit l'âme creuse. Sometimes the tux hides the hollow soul. The room inhaled. Everett's fork halted. Lucas looked ready to crawl under the linen.
Dinner dragged.
Beatrice asked about my roots. Dad runs a body shop in El Paso. Taught me spark plugs before prom. Everett murmured, "Entrepreneur," like a verdict.
"Proudly," I said.
Dessert sat untouched. When I thanked them and rose, Everett's "family before vows" landed like a subpoena. Lucas texted, "He's traditional." I replied, "Tradition isn't a shield." That night I stared at Dad's faded snapshot. Both of us grease-streaked, his note on the back. "Value isn't given, it's proven." I whispered to the dark, "Copy that." Dawn brought alerts. Tropical system churning off Hatteras. My CO pinged.
Rios, surge prep.
Volunteer? I was already zipping the go bag. 72 hours later, viral clips showed me hip-deep in brackish surge, hoisting elders onto rafts.
Kaption, LT, Riosavés Pinkes Deshim Septimi.
My inbox exploded. Comrades, strangers, one unknown. Everett Caldwell. Saw the footage. Remarkable. We should speak. I left it on read. Until the ivory card slid under my door. Rehearsal supper, Charleston Yacht Club, tomorrow.
Lucas's plea. Dad's changed. Come.
I chose slate linen, sharp lines, no brass. The club shimmered like a frigate at twilight. Beatrice hugged me, warm, real. Everett waited by the rail, harbor lights fracturing across his face. "Lieutenant. Mia tonight." He exhaled brine. I misread the woman and the cloth she wore. The flood. I've brokered ceasefires, never carried a stranger through chest-deep night. You did. Different fronts. Same valor. His voice cracked. I insulted you in a tongue I thought safe. You answered in one I'd forgotten grace. I studied the tide. Apology lands when the table changes. He nodded. Table's yours next round. Bring your father. We returned inside. Conversation flowed like calm water. A toast to duty and bridges. Everett's glass tilted my way. Beatrice added softly, "And mending." Laughter rippled, genuine. Halfway through sorbet, Lucas's smug colleague smirked. "So, Commander, how does a SEAL end up with counsel?" "Worlds apart." Everett cut in. "Same world now, one built on rescue." The colleague flushed. Hierarchy flattened. On the terrace, Lucas took my hand. "I almost lost you." "Almost," I echoed.
He squeezed.
"Dad wants to fund a veteran transition house. Says it's overdue." I arched a brow.
He said that.
Guilt or growth, either way, motion. At the door, Everett approached once more. Old French proverbe, l'honneur à qui l'honneur est dû. I smiled. Honor to whom honor is due. He extended his hand, added quietly, thank you.
I gript firm.
Earned.
Lucas walked me out.
Salt wind whipped honest. Tomorrow starts clean, he murmured. Tomorrow we prove it, I answered. Next sunrise, news choppers buzzed storm cleanup. Same anchor who'd covered my rescue now read. Caldwell Foundation pledges 6 figures to coastal relief. Cut to Everett shaking hands with vets outside the VA, sleeves rolled, no cufflinks. He looked lighter. That evening, folding the slate dress into my sea bag, I smiled. Fabric stays, eyes evolve. 2 months later, Mayflower Ballroom, mess dress blues crisp as fresh orders. Medals caught light, not show, just duty. The Veterans Gala swelled past capacity. Program read, Caldwell Rios Transition Fund. Everett had insisted. The MC's voice boomed. Closing speaker, Lieutenant Mia Rios, whose Norfolk heroism launched this very initiative. The room rose before I reached the dais. Everett first study. I gripped the mic, good evening. Weeks ago I was soaked to the bone, passing strangers to safety. Tonight I'm dry, because others pulled with me. That service, shared rope. Silence then nods. Courage isn't unbroken steel. It's bending, then choosing to rebuild. Self, family, stranger. Eyes glistened. I'll tell one small tale. Months back, I dined at a table where someone judged my dress in a whisper he thought private. I answered in his hidden language. Laughter wasn't the point. What followed was. Chuckles, then hush. That same man now funds homes for vets. He learned a new dialect, humility. Applause swelled. My dad wrote on a photo, lift, don't impress. He was right. The room erupted. Everett raised his glass, voice clear in French, then English. L'honneur à que l'honneur est dû. Glasses lifted like signal flags. Later, hallway quiet. Everett approached. You always spoke truth. I finally heard. Translation takes time. He studied my ribbons. These aren't trophies. They're receipts for responsibility. He offered his hand. When you hang the uniform, our board needs your voice. I smiled. I'll consider, in any tongue. He laughed softer. You are the daughter I hoped Lucas would choose. I lifted a brow. I was. Yes, he said, eyes shining. You were. Outside, drizzle polished the marble steps. Lucas waited under the portico.
Dad insisted uno come.
Glad he did. We stood in the mist. That night, your face when you answered him taught me strength has volume control. Patience is louder, I said. He nodded. Second chance. We already used it wisely. We hugged, not rekindled flame, but forged alloy, respect tempered. Walking to the car, I glanced back. Everett and Beatrice waved from the doorway, silhouettes against warm light. Somewhere inside, donors signed checks. Outside, rain whispered clean slates. I slid behind the wheel, window cracked, city breathing salt and possibility. Dad's voice echoed. Prove it. I whispered to the night. Roger that. Mission ongoing.